I can't help it, I'm mushrooming. What we used to say was, you could go over a field and not see one, and then think, oh, I'm going home, and go back across the same field, and they're all suddenly there, because behind you they're all going whoop, 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 whoop. Meg! Oh, you're there. Good girl.
So can you tell me about walling?
Dry stone walling. Yeah, it's a dry day. We should be able to do that. Can I show you how much we do in a day? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each metre of this wall represents a ton of stone. So if you take it down to rebuild it, you take down a ton and you put back a ton. So 6 metres is 12 tonne of stone a day to move by hand up and down. In a graveyard in Kendal, there's a waller's grave with a gravestone with a poem on it. And the last stanza reads, "Of all the appalling callings, walling is the most appalling of all." And this is true. Serendipity got me into walling at the same time as it got me into kung fu training and saved my life basically from overindulgences in the early 70s. And at one point I was actually living in what you'd call a yard or the ghetto in Chapeltown in Leeds, and travelling up to Ingleton every day at 7 and doing 9 hours walling and back down to Leeds again the same day, and going home and crying because I wasn't doing it right. You know, and I was getting a lot of stick off country lads that had been doing it on their dad's farm since they were 3 years old. Literally going home and wanting to cry, I won't get this, I won't get this. And eventually, bit by bit, I was getting it. You can't wall when you're locked up, when you're like so concerned about how the next stone's going to fit in the next one and the next one. It doesn't work. You make mistakes, and if you make one mistake, the whole bit's shot on that wall. As you get older, you get cannier. It's like stone selection. I don't want to move more than I have to. So it's picking up exactly the right stone and being free, body movements, everything to select that stone, bang it on. And if it doesn't fit there next to the last one you had, just put it down there and fill up the spaces. And then eventually the Zen art of stone squeezing comes into place, because you end up with a little gap like this. You've got a stone that you don't want to put down and then pick up another one, so it's got to go in. Lots of times it felt like you'd melded the stone. The stone was malleable, which of course it isn't. It's a rock solid object. With developing with kung fu and movement and stuff like that, it was like they went together. You know, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off all day long. And as I got older, the stones got lighter. They got lighter and lighter. You can't wall and think. You can't go, that stone needs to be there, working it out in your head like a jigsaw. You just do it. So you're not thinking. You're not having all that ning, 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 ning in your head while you're walling. And then you're in this like a dream. And what I realised was it's all landscapes in your head. I mean, you don't have to be a waller. You can be a walker through all this. And this is a dream landscape, and it matches the dream landscapes in your head. Or they coincide, or they shape one another, who knows? On top of all that, you've got the battle that you have with your own physique, and the landscape, and the material, and the weather, and the midges, and all of it, just all of it. It is an appalling calling, absolutely appalling. But it's the best of all, it really is. You see how the weather's changed now? Just incredible. I mean, it never stops. But leaning on this wall reminds me of, we'd finished up a bit of the national park walling near Ingleton. And that section of the park was opened by Prince Charles. So we had to turn up on the day Charles was coming, and the Lord Lieutenant, and all the posh knobs of the county. And we had to stand round an unfinished bit of wall, leaning on it, in a line. 6 raggedy-arse wallers. And Charles stood there and said, "This is a fine example of British rural craft, blah, 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 blah." And they were all nodding along. And he said, "Fine work, men." And our friend Stoney, who was the back of the line of the wallers, who was very droll and dry, said to Charles, "It's only an old fucking fell wall." And everybody went, "Oh, oh." Charles, to his credit, laughed. He laughed. It was a really great moment. And he said something to Stoney, and Stoney wouldn't tell us what he'd said, but I think Charles had some authenticity there, you know, because it's the truth. It's an old fell wall, you know, it's not some icon or anything, it's just an old fell wall. It's got a job. It's got a job. And it's done. My grandfather was a waller in Cumbria, round Ullswater, and he said the people around there used to say, "Walling, it's a plain job for a plain man," which is possibly true as well. They sent me grandfather off to the First World War, where he was a scout, searching through no man's land with a knife between his teeth. And he had the exact same scar on his nose that a bayonet gave him. And this was with a fight with some hooligans up in the Dales who didn't like wallers. But my grandfather said when he came back, they said, "We'll give you a world fit for heroes." And he said, aye, we'll never believe a flipping word they say. Because he said, he said, I was straight back on the wall, and we got less money than what we got when we went off in the First World War. You know, the farmers they'd got the edge on it, and he said there was less men. Just absolutely incredible. But he used to say, it's the worst of jobs, and it's the best of jobs. And you've got to say that's the truth. It's the absolute truth.